We've got our Unit 3 study guide. Number 1, consider the slopes and the y-intercepts of each system of equation. Choose true or false for each statement. We need to think about y equals mx plus b. We need to make sure that all of these are in slope-intercept form. If you look at part A, I'm saying y equals 3/4 x plus 6, so that's in slope-intercept form. Y equals negative 3/4 x plus 5, that's also in slope-intercept form. And the question is, does it have one solution? Based on the paper that I gave you, I look at my slopes to determine if it has one solution. I've got a 3/4 and a negative 3/4. They're different. So yes, that is a true statement. Slopes are different. That's why I have one solution there. They're trying to trick you. You've got a negative 3/4 and a positive 3/4. Almost looks like they're the same, but they are different. So that is one solution. So that's a true statement. Part B, they're asking, does this have no solution? Well, y minus 5x, y minus 5 equals 4x is not in slope-intercept form. I have to get it in slope-intercept form. Y equals 4x minus 5 is in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to take this equation, I'm going to write it over here. Y minus 5 equals 4x. And I'm going to get it in slope-intercept form. Y needs to stay, the negative 5 needs to go on the other side. That is going to be your y-intercept. Y equals 4x plus 5. These are opposites, these cancel out. So I've got y equals 4x minus 5. This one is y equals 4x minus 5. So I've got the same slope, but a different y-intercept. This is a negative 5 and that's a positive 5. So when they have different y-intercepts, then in fact it is no solution. So that's also a true statement. And the third one, C, 2 times 3x plus 4 equals y, is kind of in slope-intercept form here. We just need to do the distributive property to get that distributed in. And y equals 6x plus 5 is in slope-intercept form. So we need to check to see if it has one solution. So I'm going to bring that one over here. 2 times 3x gives me 6x. 2 times 4 gives me 8. So I've got 6x plus 8 and I've got 6x plus 5. Same slope, different y-intercepts. So we said earlier that that is no solution. That's no solution, not one solution. So that is false. D, that is not in slope-intercept form. That is not in slope-intercept form. So let's get that in slope-intercept form. So I've got 9 plus y equals 6x. I need to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 9, y equals 6x minus 9 for the first equation. And I've got 6x minus y equals 9, and I have to get y by itself. So first I'm going to subtract 6x, and that's a part of my slope, so it has to go in front of the 9. That leaves me with a negative y. That's going to be tricky there. I bet some of you are going to leave off that negative. Negative 6x plus 9. So the next step is divide everything by negative 1. So y equals a positive 6x minus 9. So 6x minus 9, 6x minus 9. Everything's the same. So it is, in fact, infinitely many solutions. So that one is true. Number 2, consider the equation 5 times 3x minus 9 equals 2x times 6x plus 9. How many solutions does the equation have? Solve the equation. All right. So let's take this equation and move it on down here. Well, it says show your work, so let's show it on down here. And we're solving the equation. Just solve the equation. So the first thing we need to do, and you guys are awesome at this, is getting rid of your parentheses, distributing in. So 5 times 3x gives you 15x. 5 times negative 9 gives you negative 45. 2 times 6x gives you 12x. 2 times 9 gives you 18. Now, same thing that we did up here. I have different slopes. So when I have different slopes, I am going to come up with one solution. So part A, how many solutions will you have? I will have one solution. How do I know that? Well, because the coefficients in front of my x's are different. Or you can say that your slopes are different, but the 15x and the 12x are different, so that's going to give me one solution. Part B, solve the equation to confirm part A. So I'm going to keep going here. I am actually going to solve the equation. So now, after I do the distributive property, I want to get the variable on one side. I want to subtract 12x from both sides. 15x take away 12x is 3x minus 45. Keep the equal sign lined up. These are opposites. They cancel out. Gives me 18. Undo addition and subtraction. Add 45 to both sides. 45 plus 18 gives me 63. These cancel out. Last step is to divide by 3. 63 divided by 3 gives me 21. So 21 is my actual answer. It's one solution. And my one solution is 21. Number 3. Consider the system of equations. Graph the system. Estimate the solution. So estimate tells me it is not going to cross in the corner of a square like we're typically used to. We're going to take our best guess. Now, both of these are in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. We are going to start with the number at the end, the number that doesn't have the x. So we're going to start at 2. From 2, notice there's my dot, I am going to go up 4, right 1. That is my slope. If it's not a fraction, make it into a fraction. Up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. See if we can zoom in a little bit better there. Go in the other direction. Down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, left 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, left 1. Draw your line. Connect the points. The second equation, I'll use red just so you can see the contrast. So put this one in red. I'm going to start at 6 on the y-axis. There's my 6, and I'm going to go down to right 1. Down to right 1. Down to right 1. Down to right 1. So they're crossing, but they're not crossing in a perfect corner of a square for me to figure out what the solution is. So I'm going to have to estimate. So when it says an estimated solution. So I know this is 1, but here where they're crossing is somewhere between 0 and 1, and it looks a little closer to 1 than 0. It's past half, so if I had to take a guess, I would say my x would be 3/4. X would be 3/4 right there. It's just an estimate. Let's see. Now my y is a little bit above 4. Could be 4.5. So I'm going to go with 4.5. That's my estimated spot. So if you got something else that was close to this, then you're right along. We just have to be close. Then for part B, they want you to solve it algebraically. Algebraically means that you're going to use substitution or elimination. Substitution or elimination. So down here, we are going to solve by substitution since they're both in slope-intercept form. Y equals 4x plus 2. Create my t-chart. Y equals negative 2x plus 6. So when they're both in slope-intercept form, we are just going to drop the y's and set these equal to each other. So 4x plus 2 equals negative 2x plus 6. Solve the equation for x. Add 2x, add 2x. That gives me 6x plus 2. These opposites cancel out. Equals 6. Subtract 2, 6x equals 4. Divide by 6, and x gives me 4 over 6. But 4 over 6 can be reduced down to 2/3. 2/3. So I estimated at 3/4. That's pretty close. So the exact solution is 2/3 for my x. Now let's figure out what my y is going to be. So y equals 4 times 2/3 plus 2. 4 times 2/3 is 8 over 3. 8 over 3 plus 2. Let's see, we need a common denominator, so I'm going to go out here. 8 over 3 plus 2 over 1. Of course, you can use a calculator on this. Common denominator is going to be 3. That means I got to multiply the top and the bottom by 3. So that gives me 6 over 3. 6 over 3 reduces down to 2. I'm going to keep the 8 over 3. When you add fractions, keep the denominator. 8 plus 6 gives me 14 over 3. So you can leave it 14 over 3, but to really understand what the value is, 3 goes into 14 4 times, a remainder of 2, so that's 4 2/3. That's my y value. And of course, you could leave these as decimals too. 2/3 would be 0.6 repeating, and that would be 4.6 repeating. So you could also have the decimal equivalent. Number 4. Callie has a new kitten. The kitten weighs 3 pounds less than half the weight of Callie's cat. Together, the cat and the kitten weigh 18 pounds. Which system of equations could be used to find the weight of each animal? I notice my answer choices are all in slope-intercept form. However, if I was going to set this up, I would not use slope-intercept form. Let's go back to the equation. The kitten weighs 3 pounds less than half the weight of Callie's cat. So if I say that x is the kitten and y is the cat, then the kitten weighs 3 pounds less than, so that'll be minus 3, half the weight of Callie's cat. Number 4, I'm actually going to switch that. I'm going to make the kitten y and the cat x. The kitten y and the cat x. So the kitten, which is y, weighs 3 pounds less than half the weight of Callie's cat. So that's 1/2 of x. So this is going to be behind the 1/2 x. So y equals 1/2 x minus 3. A little confusing on how to set this up. Together, the cat and the kitten weigh 18 pounds. Now, I would have done x plus y equals 18 pounds. Now, easy way to get that in slope-intercept form, subtract x, it goes in front of 18. So y equals negative x plus 18. So find this equation along with this equation, and you have it. So you have to pay very close attention. I think it's easy to see that here we're adding and you know to subtract. So that eliminates A and B. So you're looking at C and D. So 1/2 x minus 3, 1/2 x minus 3. But if you correctly put the second one in slope-intercept form, then you would choose C, negative x plus 18. 5, we're dealing with similar triangles. Choose yes or no for each of the statements. The slope of the line between points P and Q, so that's P and Q, is the same as the slope between P and R. Well, yes, it's the same line. You've got a line segment embedded in another line segment. And they're following the same slope. So yes, they are the same slope. Triangles PQT, so that's this triangle right here, and PRS, so that's the big triangle, are similar. Yes, they are similar. You have a smaller triangle embedded into a bigger triangle. Yes, they are similar. The slope of the line between P and R is 3/2. This is where they try to trick you. From P to Q, you are going up 2, right 3. So your slope is 2/3. So no, it's not 3/2, it's 2/3. Rise over run. D, the equation of the line that passes through these points, slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, well, they're still using the incorrect slope. Stick with your guns, it's 2/3. It does have the right y-intercept, so the 2 is correct, but your 3/2 is not correct. So no, that's not correct. 6. You've got part A and part B. The table shows the number of markers in different number of boxes. All right, so typically this is your X and this is your Y. You can see here that you are increasing by 1. You've got 1 box, 2 boxes, 3 boxes, 4 boxes, and so forth. So you're just increasing by 1. Then you have your number of markers. So 1 box has 12 markers. 2 boxes, of course, is going to have 24 markers. You have 12 markers in each box. 12 markers in each box. So you're increasing by 12 each time. Graph this proportional relationship. So you need to remember that for proportional relationships, they go through the origin. So this is my y-axis. This is my x. X represents the number of boxes. So for the first box, I have 12 markers. So I'll just go by 12s. 12, 24. You can use different increments. Doesn't matter. 36, 48, 60. So for 1 box, I have 12 markers. For 2 boxes, I have 24 boxes. Now, I want to show that it's proportional. So if I have 0 boxes, I have 0 markers. 3 boxes, I have 36. 4 boxes, I have 48. 5 boxes, I have 60 markers. And that is proportional because it goes through the origin. So it needs to look something like this. It says to make sure that you label your horizontal axis and your vertical axis. So basically, what are my x's representing? My x's represent the number of boxes. So this is the number of boxes, and your y represents the number of markers. And that's all you've got to do there. Part B, it says, what's the unit rate? Well, I circled it up here. You have 12 markers for every box. So the unit rate, the slope, is the same thing in this situation. What does it represent? Well, you have 12 markers in each box. That is your unit rate. It's a unit rate because your denominator is 1. 12/1 is a unit rate. It is also considered your slope. It's your rate, 12 markers in each box. Number 7. Which of these systems of equations has infinitely many solutions? Infinitely many solutions. Well, we got to go back to slope-intercept form. This one's in slope-intercept form. This one's in slope-intercept form. That one's in slope-intercept form. So basically, all the first equations are in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to take this equation. I'll come out here. Let's say I've got 10x plus 5y equals 35. And I've got to get that in slope-intercept form. I've got to get y by itself. The y stays, everything else has to go. So I'm going to subtract 10x, and I'm going to put it in front of the 35. I can't combine it with 35. 35 doesn't have an x. Opposites cancel out. 5y equals negative 10x plus 35. Divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5. Y equals negative 2x plus 7. Go back to the original equation. Looks like everything is the same. So if everything's the same, you've got infinitely many solutions. So I want to circle A, but I want to keep going. There might be more. So you'll have to check every single one of these to see if they're in slope-intercept form. Actually, it says which of these systems. So it doesn't say choose all that apply, so I guess that's it. A is the right one. Let's go on to number 8. An online video streaming service offers 2 plans for unlimited streaming. Plan A has a one-time $25 monthly membership fee and is $8 per month. Plan B has a $5 membership fee and $12 per month. All right, so you need to write a system. We got Plan A and we got Plan B. Plan A, it says it has a one-time membership fee of $25. So that is going to be my starting point. It's going to be my Y-intercept. As soon as I walk in the door, I got to pay $25. Each month, I'm going to pay $8. So 8x plus 25. So I'm starting out with a higher membership fee at Plan A. Plan B is a membership fee of $5 and then $12 per month. So y equals 12x plus 5. So that's a much lower membership fee. So there's my system. Part B, which months is Plan A less expensive? For which months is Plan B less expensive? So we kind of have to get a visual for this. Show your work. So what I would do is I would solve by substitution first and figure out what we're looking at here. Since they're both in slope-intercept form, I would create my t-chart. Y equals ax plus 25. Y equals 12x plus 5. Drop the y's and solve for x. So 8x plus 25 equals 12x plus 5. Subtract 8x from both sides. 25 equals 4x plus 5. Subtract 5. 20 equals 4x. Divide by 4. And you've got x equals 5. Well, x represents the number of months. Okay, so at 5 months, you've got the same amount of money. Plan A, Plan B. They cost you the same amount of money. Let's figure out how much that is. So y equals 8 times 5 plus 25. 8 times 5 is 40. 40 plus 25 is 65. So 5 months, $65. They are the same. Plan A, Plan B. 5 months, $65. So you might want to graph this as well. For Plan B, for the first month, we're starting out at a lower rate. We got to pay $5 and increase it by 12. Let's create a table. Let's see what happens. Let's see, I do a table here. And I have all right, for the first month, second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month. We know that they're the same at the 5th month. All right, but we could probably just do 1 or 2 of these boxes to figure out who is going to cost less for the first 4 months. Okay? So if I plug in 1, so let's say this is plan A and this is plan B. Plan A is 8 times 1 plus 25. 8 times 1 plus 25. So that's 8 plus 25. 8 plus 25 gives me $33. $33. Plan B is 12 times 1 plus 5. Just trying to figure out how much it's going to be the first month. So 12 plus 5 gives me $17. So $17 is a lot less than $33. So this is going to continue where Plan B is going to cost less than Plan A for the first 4 months. Because you're starting out at $5 and paying $12 each additional month. So Plan B is less expensive before month 5. Plan B is less expensive before month 5. After month 5, think about your 2 graphs and they're going to cross each other. After month 5, so let's test month 6. Let's plug in 6 here. And I've got 8 times 6 plus 25. 8 times 6 gives me 48. Add 25 to that. That gives me 73 for Plan A. Plan B is 12 times 6 plus 5. 12 times 6 is 72. 72 plus 5 gives me 77. So it's switching after 5 months. At month 6, Plan A is less expensive. So we're going to say from month 6 on, Plan A is less expensive. So for the first, before month 5, Plan B is less expensive. After month 5, month 6 and on, Plan A is less expensive. Now remember, at month 5, they're the same. They're exactly the same. Part C, if the membership fee for Plan B is dropped. Okay, no membership fee. How does this change your answer to Part B? Oh my goodness, what a challenge. So, if the membership fee for Plan B was dropped, I would have y equals 12x. I wouldn't have that $5. And this is Plan B. Plan A, I'm assuming, is not changing, and you have y equals 8x plus 25. Well, then we have to go back, and maybe we want to do a chart here where I've got to figure out, okay, I'm going to put this back down. I'm going to say Plan A is less expensive. I'm just going to recreate those instructions. Plan B is less expensive. So Plan B is basically still going to be less expensive, but for longer. So if I create another table, let me get a blank sheet of paper. Got my sheet of paper. So I'm just going to create a table here. I've got Plan A, Plan B, Plan A, you've got the same equation, y equals 8x plus 25. Plan B, you've got 12x, so that's changing. We've dropped our... Now, we also probably need to solve by substitution. 12x equals 8x plus 25, because it's not going to be at 5 months anymore. We're going to have to subtract 8x, subtract 8x. That gives me 4x equals 25, divide by 4. 4 doesn't go into 25 evenly. That gives us about 6 1/4 months. So at 6.25 months, they're going to be at the same price. So we got to look at what's happening before 6.25 months. So let's look at month 1. If I plug in month 1, I've got 8 times 1 plus 25, which I'm going to get the same thing there. So that was $33. $33 for Plan A. Plan B, I've got 12 times 1. That's $12. So Plan B is still, of course, going to be cheaper. I took away more money from Plan B. So now Plan B is still going to be less expensive for the first 5 months, but it's also going to be less expensive through month 6. So we're going to say through month 6. So it's just extending it, being less expensive through month 6. And then, so we can't really say 6.25 because typically you're on a monthly plan. So Plan A will be less expensive Plan A will be less expensive from month 7 on. So we've just kind of shifted that over. That was a tough question. 9. One equation in a system of equations is y equals 2 over 3x minus 5, for which second equation would this system have exactly one solution? All right, so this one's in slope-intercept form. I need one solution. So these are, some of them are in slope-intercept form, some of them are not. So to be exactly one solution, I'm just going to look at the slope. The slopes have to be different. Have to be different. Let's see, that's a 3, that's 2/3. It says choose all apply. I'm going to choose that because 3 is different than 2/3. Over here, that's a 5, that's 2/3. That's different. I'm choosing it. That's going to give me exactly one solution. C, I got to get it in slope-intercept form, so I got 3y equals 2x plus 4, divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. That gives me 2/3 x. That's the same. I don't want the same. If I had the same, I've got something else, so I'm not going to choose C. D, let's bring it over here. I've got 2y equals 3x plus 7, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Y gives me 3 over 2x. Well, I can stop right there. That is different. D is an answer choice. E, all I've got to do is distribute that in. 2 times 1/3 is 2/3 x. It's the same. I don't have to go any further. I don't want the same. I want a different slope. So A, B, and D give me a different slope. And that gives me one solution. 10. Xavier is considering 2 lawn services. Premier Landscaping charges $15 for travel to Xavier's house and $55 per hour for maintaining his lawn. Ace Landscaping does not have a travel fee but charges $65 per hour for lawn maintenance. Write a system. All right, so we got Premier. I'm just going to label that with a P. $15 for travel. Never heard of that before. So that's a flat rate of 15. And $55 per hour. That is your rate. So 55x plus 15 for Premier. Ace does not charge a travel fee, but it's $65 per hour. So this must be some big lawn that we're going to take us more than an hour. So it's $65 per hour. So there's our system for Ace and Premier. Without solving the system of equations, explain what the solution represents. All right, so X in this situation represents the hours. It's the number of hours. X represents the number of hours. Y represents the total cost. And we want to see which one is going to give us the better deal based on how many hours it's going to take. So we're talking about the solution here. The solution represents the number of hours of lawn maintenance. So X would represent your hours. Y would represent your cost. So you would have hours and cost. That would be your solution of this system. So it doesn't even say to solve. So you don't even have to solve. You just got to figure out what does the X represent and what does the Y represent. So X is the number of hours and Y is your cost. Okay, so that was easy. 11. The Y-intercept of the graph of the line is located. Oh, well, that's good to know. Thank you for that information. And the line passes through 5, 1. What's the equation? Oh my goodness, they are all in slope-intercept form. Thank you. It says that the y-intercept is -2. Y-intercept's -2. Y-intercept's -2. Well, I'm not going to choose D and I'm not going to choose B. Now, I need to figure out what my slope is. What a great review of slope. Slope is your second y minus your first y over your second x minus your first x. This is my first x. This is my first y. This is my second x. This is my second y. 1 minus -2. 5 minus 0. 1 minus -2, that is 1 plus 2, which gives you 3. And you look, I could be done. 5 minus 0 gives you 5. 3 over 5 is your slope. So A is the correct answer. Hope you enjoyed the video.